All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And peace, love, and salutations to the Akim that's out there laboring, sub the hopeful elect that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. And I pretty much want to speak about this podcast from the Hodge twins when they pretty much interviewed Andrew Tate. This took place some time ago, pretty much 2025. But there's a couple of points I want to bring out on this lesson. And as you know, Andrew Tate, pretty much world renowned by this time, and pretty much he's been accused of just misogyny and trafficking of women. But he was all cleared for those allegations. But pretty much, him and including the Hodge twins, which are twin brothers that do this podcast, all of them pretty much appear to be, they claim to be quote unquote biracial, so to speak. They all look like they're Jakes at the end of the day, but I pretty much think through the spirit that the Hodge twins may be some tares. But pursuant to Matthew the 13th chapter, the parable between the tares and the wheat, we shall see. But I'm gonna play a little bit of this clip, and I want to get into this topic of discussion. But pretty much, you see the ignorance that's here in Babylon, and things that we have been taught, and that age-old lie about who was responsible for you Negroes from getting over here, okay, via the transatlantic slave trade, and the age-old alibi is that Africans sold Africans into slavery, and it's pretty much far from the truth. But he's pretty much going to echo this baseless rhetoric, and pretty much through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai, we're going to crush that narrative, because that narrative is still holds strong to this day, all right. But without any further ado, let's play this clip.
Black fatigue. People are tired of black people. Every time you look up, some Negroes arguing about something.
Well,
Derek Penny, that whole situation.
Oh yeah, that was incredible. That was incredible, and it's. I'll be honest. One of the things that's amazing to me, because I am American. I lived here till I was 8, and then I grew up in England, and then I moved all around the world. What's kind of amazing to me about the American consciousness is that they have this huge preposition with racism. And they seem to think this is a racist country. Like, you motherfuckers haven't been anywhere.
Yeah.
Because this is the least racist nation on the planet. You think America's racist? Let me tell you where's racist. You know the most racist place? Africa.
Oh, yeah.
You've never been to Africa? You Hutu, you're Tutu,
right.
You're Boo-Poo. Like, they're fucking killing each other, having genocide. They all look the fucking same. They're pulling out machetes. Look at the Rwandan genocide. I couldn't even tell the two teams. Right. They're running around fucking swinging blades. Bro, the whole world's fucking racist.
Killing each other with nothing.
And that's pretty much going to be the topic of the discussion, okay? All right? And pretty much, we all know that pretty much that Hamites sold Israelites into slavery. And not really even sold them to slavery. They were pretty much were just rounded up and were kidnapped, so to speak, okay? And pretty much, this man, that powers that be, their tongues pretty much are falling apart themselves, because a lot of the stuff that they said, truth that they would put in movies and pretty much, on sitcoms, on TV, they would pretty much subliminally throw the truth out there, but pretty much now that the truth is being revealed, these clips that are pretty much popping up, that lie is being uncovered, and really the truth is being uncovered at the end of the day. You see, okay, and these clips are pretty much are aging very well at this point in time, and I want to speak about this movie that was done pretty much in 1985 by the name of Shaka Zulu. Okay, now let me get up on the chat. I think I still have it up. Okay, all right, and this was it was a clip in the movie Shaka Zulu. Okay, all right. Now there was a conversation, and I'm gonna get the transcript. All right, but let me just pull up the movie real quick. Okay, I'm not gonna play the movie for pretty much copyright, but fair use. But I want to get this conversation. Let's see if I can pull it up. Slacky, give me some. Bear with me, Akim. Just want to get to that point. Well, this clip is pretty much a minute long, all right. But I'm gonna go on the chat, okay, all right, and get the transcript, okay, of what was being said at this point in time, this time point, okay. Now, pretty much to set this up, this was a pretty much a so-called doctor that was pretty much examining and treating the refugees, okay, that were fleeing Shaka Zulu. Okay, he was a pretty much a warrior of a Hamite tribe, okay, terrorizing a lot of the other tribes. Okay, now it says here, let me just go back a little bit more on this real quick. Just bear with me. All right, set up the synopsis for this movie. This was a 1986 TV miniseries, Shaka Zulu, about the life of Zulu King Shaka, appeared to include a line where Europeans or slave traders referred to the dispersed Africans as wandering Jews of Africa. Okay? All right, keep that in mind because that was actually what they had said in the movie. Okay? When he was treating the pretty much the dispersed. Okay? And this was pretty much part of that diaspora. Okay? Now, they were fleeing persecution from Shaka Zulu, which were actual Hamites. Okay? Now it says, pretty much was asking the question, because I remember this movie growing up. All right? It says, the line comes from the 1986 TV miniseries Shaka Zulu, Night 1, Episode 1. Okay? The dialogue says something like, if you'll ever favor my comparison, they are the wandering Jews of Africa fleeing the Pharaoh Shaka into Babylonian captivity of slavery. Okay? Now, let me just get the actual but that was pretty much the line that was there. Okay, it says, hold on. All right, so because they refer to Shaka pretty much as the Pharaoh. Okay, so now they were pretty much making a comparison or parallel comparison to when we fled Egypt. Okay, but this is more the lines of this is what we had to go through. Okay, which was prophesied in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Okay, it says that Shaka Zulu was a powerful king of the Zulu kingdom in the early 1800s, reigned from 1816 to 1828. The speaker in the miniseries compares Shaka to a pharaoh, meaning the ruler with absolute authority like the kings of ancient Egypt. By calling him Pharaoh Shaka, they had drawn biblical parallel, Shaka as an oppressive pharaoh, and the displaced African slaves as the wandering Jews fleeing bondage or conquest. Okay? So it was a figurative language equating Shaka's military dominance and the upheaval of neighboring tribes with the biblical story of Israel's bondage in Egypt. Okay? That's pretty much what it was going into. All right? And pretty much he was naming the different tribes in this clip. You know, he was naming the different tribes in this clip. Okay, but as you can see, you know, he's treating them there, right? And pretty much, you know, he's making the dialogue between him and the slave trader. Okay, now let's get some scriptures real quick, because you know the powers that be know this. Okay, this is history that has been pretty much hidden and kept, but pretty much when you break down that movie, it goes into detail about what was that referring to. All right, and to also back it up, you know, here is the Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary. Okay, that pretty much defines Ham. Okay, we're gonna read it. All right, the definition of Ham within this Bible dictionary, and it says, Ham, the youngest son of Noah, probably born about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor, okay, the father of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and Canaanites. You know, okay? And even when you want to talk about today's day and age, what you want to speak about with the so-called Somalis that are pretty much in Minnesota. Now they distinctively separate themselves from the so-called African Americans here in Babylon. Okay, you know they always use the word black. You know, they tell you that they're not black. Okay, and when they mean the word black, they have that word that is pretty much pinned to so-called African Americans, and the whole world knows that. The whole world knows pretty much that we are relegated to a color, so to speak. Okay, which is basically just a social construct, man. Okay, all right. So now we have pretty much the Bible dictionary, pretty much landbacking on what that movie was referring to during the dialogue between the doctor and the slave trader. Okay, you see? All right. So now let's get some scriptures real quick. Okay, because you know, Edom likes to get his way out of this whole thing, you know, and try to put the blame and say, you know, your people sold your own people into slavery, and think that they pretty much are exempt from judgment, man. You know? Okay, so real quick, let's get a scripture real quick. This is let's go to Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord power for the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. You know, and pretty much, man, that's the sentiment though, because you know, they benefited off of this transatlantic slave trade, but now fast forward now, you know, and pretty much financially through the family tree lines, and you know, owe money. Okay, and they pretty much, you know, want to pass off the blame and say that you know, that they were sold, Africans sold Africans into slavery though. But who put them on auction blocks here on the shores of Babylon, man, and put them to hardcore slavery, man? Okay, all right, the hardcore slavery didn't start until you got into here in Babylon, on the shores of Babylon, man. You see? Okay, so you see the pretty much the hypocrisy, man. You know, and pretty much, you know, the scriptures also back up the fact of the difference, okay, between us and Hamites, man. Okay, all right. between Shem and Ham. All right. Well, let's get real quick. Let's get Exodus 11, verse 7. Okay, and it says, "But against any of the children of Israel shall not a tongue move its tongue against man nor beast, that ye may know how that the Lord had put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel." Okay, so there was a distinct difference between the two. Okay, and you see pretty much that conflict here, really in the book of Exodus, man, when the Israelites were in bondage under Pharaoh, okay, king of Egypt. Okay, and real quick, we're going to go to Exodus 1 to even further prove the point. Exodus 1 verse 15. Let's start there. So it says, "And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Zipporah, and the other one was Puah. And he said, When ye do the office of the midwife to the Hebrew women, and you see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, she shall live." Okay, so pretty much this was going on here, that the king had ordered that the midwives, okay, the midwives was the ones that would assist the women that were going into birth. Okay, all right, and they would assist them, and they said if it was a male, to kill him. You see, okay, but the daughter you shall live, because basically, that is pretty much a spoil of war, of a conquered people, man, a conquered nation. All right, you see, all right, the women would be spared, okay, but the men would be straight killed, okay. Why? To pretty much shut off that family line, okay, which in turn is really a genocide. You see, okay, but it says, "But the midwives feared the Most High, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives, and said unto them, Why have you done this thing, and have saved the men children alive?" You see, all right. Now this version right here, I want to get verse 19, all right, to get better understanding. All right, for anybody watching, I want to get better understanding, more edification in the different version of this particular verse. So we're gonna go to pretty much go to the NLT. Okay, it says, "The Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women." The midwives replied, "They are more vigorous and have had their babies so quickly that we cannot get there in time." You see, so that was what they said. They said the alibi was that they would have them so quick that they would not be able to get them in time to even determine whether it was a male or a female, and whether to pretty much kill it or not. You see, okay, but there was a spirit of the Lord that was on them to not do such a thing, because they feared the Most High, man. Okay, you see, right? Right, but pretty much that's the point right there. Okay, all right, and when you go into that, vigorous, all right, vigorous personality is characterized by strong physical and mental energy, enthusiasm, and forcefulness, indicating someone who is active, robust, and determined, tackling tasks in great fertility, and little sign of depletion. Okay, and it says, right? Yeah, because the midwives are pretty much, they were more lively than the Egyptian women, man. Okay, so that was pretty much a difference in the characteristics of the women, man. Okay, and they were coming from two different nations, man. Okay, two different family lines, man. Okay, All right, the Israelite women, the Hebrew women were Shemitic, okay, and the Egyptian women, okay, were Hamitic, okay, as we've seen in the Compact Bible Dictionary, okay. You see, and this is in this man's own books, man, and he also said it out of his own mouth, man, of who those people were, okay, back in the time of Shaka Zulu, man, okay. They referred to them as the wandering Jews, man, because why? Because Shaka Zulu ran them from their mainstays in the interiors of Africa that we were dwelling in back when we fled Roman persecution and fled into the interiors of that land, and pretty much were pushed, to the west coast of Africa, down to the southern coast of Africa, and that was part of that diaspora, man. You see? Okay. All right, from there, all right, let's go to Nahum real quick. The book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 2. The Most High is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. Yahweh revengeth, and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. Okay? Because these people pretty much touched the apple of his eye, man. Okay? You see? All right? We can further get into that of his controversy with Edom. All right? And it says, the Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. Okay, and that's pretty much the point right there. It says Yahweh have his way in the whirlwind, in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. And surely enough, they do see them clouds, man. And this is why there's a big cover up to this day about what they see in those heavens, man. Okay, you see? All right, they go ahead and NASA cuts the feed, live feed, so people can't see. All right, but people pretty much now we're in an information age where people have technology of their own, security cameras, pretty much iPhones, okay, and they're able to do recording of these things that they see on site, man. Okay, you see, so pretty much there's no way around that, man. All right. All right, from there, let's go to, let's pull it real quick. I'm going to go to Joel real quick. Let's see. I believe it's Joel, yeah. It said the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, and you have removed them far from their border. Okay, you're speaking about those other tribes, man. Okay, all right. Where it says here, it says, and have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold the girl for wine, that they may drink. And what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Sidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head, because you have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried them into your temples, and my godly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, that you may remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them from up out of the places where you have sold them, and return your recompense upon your own head. Okay? All right? You see? All right? That's the point right there. All right? You see? All right? So pretty much, man, we can pretty much line things up, with the way how we have that they portray it in the movies, man. Okay, we actually go in the scriptures with that, man. Okay, you know, there's no way that you're gonna sit here and deny Deuteronomy the 38th chapter when there's various plethora of movies that pretty much show us in that same state, man, of what the scriptures are speaking about, man. Okay, you see, you can believe it, accept it, believe it or not, you know. Okay, the truth is the truth, and it's coming out, man. You know, all right. This is last precept. This is Jeremiah chapter 49. All right, verse 10. But I have made Esau bare, and have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. Okay, all right. You're pretty much being sawed down to a nobody, man. You're being filed down, man. Systematically filed down to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Abishad, man. You're being filed down to a stubble, to a nobody, man. Okay, all right. Your whole narrative is falling apart. Okay, you see, you know, your counsel is pretty much in disarray. Okay, all right. You're all over the place. You're getting sloppy, and simply you really don't care, man, because you know you have but a short time, man. Okay, you already know that you have to do what you have to do, man. Okay, you see, all right. That's pretty much the point right there, you know. Okay, right. Yeah, but that's the point right there, though. But this movie, and I'm pretty much gonna put the link in the description box, Lord willing. And it says here in the title, man, right? Shaka Zulu, Wandering Jews of Africa. Okay, you see? All right, so pretty much that's pretty much what the title right there is on that clip. All right, and it says, I'm just gonna see what's on the comment board. Right? It says they were the real Jews, not Jewish. These are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Okay, somebody put that in the description. Put that in the comment. Okay, okay, all right. And then, yeah, of course, they're gonna have people that's gonna talk and say what they know. But that's the point right there. Okay, but you know, this has always been the movie that always stuck in my mind. You know, it came out in 1986. You know, yeah. So pretty much, I'll probably just put this particular clip, just this short clip. I'll put this in the description box. But you know, brothers can probably, you know, dive deeper and watch the whole movie if they, you know, if they choose to get some further edification. You know, but pretty much I'm gonna end it right there, and I'm gonna give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Shalom.